I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and 2 of them I can almost guarantee you're going to get wrong. Are you ready for it? Number 1, who is the U.S. president? Okay? You're probably going to get that one right. Okay? Hopefully. Number 2, who is your state governor? Do you know his name? Okay? If you're like most people, you're probably not going to know your state governor's name. Okay? If you do, awesome. You're an elite category of people. And number 3, what is the name of your mayor? Your city or your town mayor? Okay? If you're like 99.99% of people out there, you're going to have no clue what the name of your city mayor is, which is kind of sad, right? How do we not know? We're electing these people. There are several different people that we elect, and most people only know who the U.S. president is and know his name, and the other people, we don't even know their names. If we don't know their names, how are we supposed to know what they even represent or what they're voting for or all that kind of stuff? Okay? So the first step that I found in learning about this process and getting locally informed is learning about how the overall system works with government. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. My name's Addison Hildebrandt with Locally Informed, and our mission is to inform every single citizen of how their government works and inform them of who their local elected officials are so that they can be held accountable and you can be represented properly. Okay? So let's get into it. What is the overall structure of government from a 30,000 foot view, from every single level, from the highest level to the lowest level, and what are the different branches? Okay? There are 4 levels of government. What is the highest level called? Okay? Let's see if you can guess these answers before I put them in. Okay? I did this challenge with my wife, and she got 3 or 4 of them. Okay? Which is kind of average. Okay? Let's see if you can get more than 3 or 4. The highest level in the government is called the federal. It's the federal level. That's what it's over the entire country of the United States of America. Okay? The next level of government just below federal is what? The state government. Okay? There are 50 states in the U.S. Every single state has their own state government. Okay? The next level below state, what is it? It's the county. A lot of people don't know this, but the county has its own government. Okay? And the last level is the city government. Okay? And a lot of people say, oh, it's the lowest level, so it must not have that much of importance on my life. Actually, in a lot of cases, these ones have a lot more impact over our lives than the higher ones. Okay? Now, with that said, these are the 4 levels. There's 1 federal government, 50 state governments, many county governments in every state, and many cities in every county. Okay? Just think of it like a big web going down, big root system. Okay? Now, what are the 3 branches of government? Branches just meaning the responsibilities. Okay? The founding fathers set up our government and they established a separation of powers. Because before it was just the king. And the king, we could scratch all of this out and just put king over this entire thing. Who's the government? The king is over everything. Well, the founding fathers said, no, that system's really bad. That led to a lot of tyranny and lost freedoms and all this other stuff. We need to separate out the powers. And that's what they do. They separated them out into 4 different levels. They separated them out into 3 different categories or branches. The first category... Oh, what's going on here? Okay. The first category or branch is called the what? Let's see if you get this. The executive level. This level is there to execute or to make sure that the laws are actually fulfilled. Okay, they're there to execute the laws. and they're to enforce the laws, okay? The next level is the legislative. They're there to legislate laws or make legal the laws. They're there to create the laws. So these guys create the laws, and these guys execute or enforce the laws. And the last branch, do you know what it is? The judicial branch. Now, the judicial branch is there to judge. Okay, those are the judges. These guys make the laws. These guys enforce the laws. And these guys judge whether people have broken the laws or not. Okay, and they're to judge whether a law is constitutional or not, whether it's a just law or not. Okay, they're the judge. Okay, hopefully that makes sense so far. Now what we're going to do is fill in each of these other boxes in here. Okay, now let's just go straight down the executive, and then we'll go legislative and then judicial. Who is the federal executor in our country? It is the, remember his name? The president. Okay? The president. There's just one president. Who is the executor in the state? The governor is the executor. Each state has one governor. Who is the executor or there to enforce the laws at the county level? The county commission. The county commission. Now you can have one commissioner or several different commissioners, depends on the county. Then, lastly, is the executive who's there to enforce laws on the city level. The mayor. Okay? Now, let's jump over to the legislative branch. And you might be asking yourself, wait, Addison, slow down. I don't know, what is the governor's role, or what's the county commissioner's role? What's the state's more exact responsibilities? We're not going to go into that in this video. I have other videos that go in more depth explaining each of these different categories. That's not what this video is for. This is just a 30,000 foot view. After this video, you can go ahead, check out those other videos, and go into more depth on our channel, okay? Now, let's go to the legislative branch. What do they do again? They legislate, or they make the laws. Who are the federal legislators? Okay? It's Congress on a federal level, and Congress is split up into two different categories. The Senate and the House of Representatives. I'm just going to put reps, okay? And the reason that they separate it is to have even more of a separation of power. So you couldn't just have one person that's making all the laws. Okay? That would be really easy to corrupt. Okay? They separate it out. You're going to see that a lot. They're all about separating things out. Okay? So you have the Senate and the House. Next, you have on the state level who's writing the laws and making the laws on the state level. The state legislature. Okay? The state legislature. And that as well is broken up into two different categories. Can you guess them? Senate and the House of Representatives. Who knew? Did you know that? Kudos to you if you knew that. Because when I first learned about this, I had no idea. I was like, wait, there's a Senate and a House in the federal government and a Senate and a House in the state government? Yes. It's interesting because what you're going to start seeing is you're going to start seeing patterns that the lower governments are structured after our federal government, okay? And also the federal government took many ideas from the state governments, okay, when we was just getting formed, okay? Let's jump down here to the county level. Who's making the laws on the county level? It's the commission. The county commissioners are also making the laws on the county commission. It's the only group that has two different categories. Okay? Then let's jump down to the city. Who's making laws on the city level? It's the city, what's it called? Council. The city council. Usually 5 to 7 people in the city council. Can be more depending on your city. Okay? Now let's jump to the last category, which is the judicial branch. The judges. The ones who are judging whether people are following the laws and whether a law is constitutional or not. Okay? Who are the judges on the federal level, the country level? Okay? Now there are 3 different categories. I'm just going to tell you right now. There are 3 different categories on each of these different levels. So in total, there are 12 different judicial levels. Okay, 3 within each of these. The highest is the Supreme Court. Okay. Next is the appeals, the Court of Appeals. And then the last one is the district courts. Now, how this is structured is you go to a district court to have your trial heard. Okay? Once it's heard, then you can you have 1 or 2 decisions if you don't like the outcome. You can either live with it or you can appeal to a higher court and go up to a higher court. And then you can appeal to the Supreme Court. Okay? And it basically works like that just down the line. You have your trial heard on the lowest, and then you can appeal to a higher court and appeal to a higher court. Okay? And you can keep on doing that going all the way up. Okay? Just to give you an overview of what that is. Okay? On the state level, it's very similar. You have your state Supreme Court. You have your appellate court, which is just a fancy word for appeals, appellate. And then you have your trial courts, and that's where you are tried. You have your trial. Is that a trial court? Make sense? Okay, I hope this is making sense. Next, county. Who are your judicial system, your judges on the county level? You have your superior court, then you have your appellate courts, and then you have your specialized courts. Now, your specialized courts are your drug courts, your traffic, small claims, things like that. They're just more specialized. And then you can do the same thing, appeal, and you can appeal and go up the line. Okay? Now, let's get the last box. Your city. Who is your judicial system made up on your city? It's your municipal. You thought we were going to say superior or supreme. It's your municipal. And you're going to be like, Addison, what the heck does that mean? Municipal. Municipal is a fancy word for city. That's all it means. Municipal means city. Okay, so your city court. Then you have your appellate courts and your specialized courts. Now, depending on the size and the structure of your city government, county government, and state government, it might not have this middle appellate court. But that's beside the point. We're not talking about exceptions. We're talking about the general overview, okay, of how this works. There are always going to be little exceptions here and there, but this is how the entire structure generally works on the 30,000 foot overview. So again, you might be looking at this and you might be feeling overwhelmed, like, holy cow, that's a lot of information. I'm not even following where you're at. If you're not getting where we're at, because this is a lot of information, go ahead, watch the video over again. I do it all the time with videos that I want to learn more about. Watch the video again. If this made sense to you, go ahead, pull out a blank sheet of paper and teach this to someone else. And try not to cheat and watch this video and look at the sheet on here, okay? That's the best way you're going to learn, is by teaching somebody else. And that's how we all become locally informed, is by teaching other people and sharing this information with other people, okay? So go ahead, do those two things, do your homework, and I'll see you in the next video.